P-38 Lightning. And I think we have a C-17 taking off, yes. So this is a long-range escort plane and fighter from World War II. Quite an excellent aircraft from everything I read about it. It used two Allison aircraft engines, 1710 cubic inch Allison aircraft engines, made in the USA. And they got over the altitude problem of not allowing a two-speed supercharger by putting a turbocharger on top of the wing. You may be able to see it from here. It's that black thing with a shiny silver front. I'll go around the back of the wing. It should be easier to see. The rest of the holes here that you see inside the area are it's a liquid cooled engine, so you got to cool your radiator water. And that happens back at the back at that little lump that sticks out on the side. Those are the air intakes for the radiator. And then on the side here you got the air intakes for the oil coolers. You had to cool the oil from the engine also. So got a plane up there departing. So anyhow, back to this plane. It's a nose gear aircraft, so easy to land, or some people used to call it back in the day Land-O-Matic. At least at the end of your mission you weren't going to roll yourself in a ball. So come on around. You can tell the gear retracts to the rear, which is a little unorthodox, but that's just what it did. And there you can see the lump on the cutout on the top there. That's where the turbocharger was. The exhaust came back and went through the turbocharger, then exhausted straight up. There wasn't like an exhaust pipe coming out the side or anything. The turbocharger is actually mounted upside down, so the exhaust goes straight up. And here's the flap on the radiator. You could close it up for warming the engine up, so no air could blow through it. And if you're climbing hard or pulling hard, you open that back flap up so you get maximum airflow. And now we're here back to the twin tails. And I was kind of wondering myself, but it does appear that they are, yes, they are actually aluminum, which is kind of amazing for World War II. Most flight controls during World War II, it seems, were fabric covered. Like a surface like this would be covered with fabric. But not in this case. These funny little things sticking off the tail are balance weights. That's to prevent elevator flutter. You can get an unbalanced situation on flight controls at high speeds and actually start to go up and down or shake left or right until it tears itself right off the aircraft. And of course that's not a good thing. That just teaches you to use a parachute, which nobody wants to do. So sorry this is into the sun, but this is the way the day is right now. So we got a aileron trim tab right there, midpoint. Real tiny trim tab. Oh, we got a C-130 going by. That looks like fun. Well, back to the P-38. I'm easily distracted. This little thing here in the wing that's round, looks like somebody broke it. That is actually a fold down landing light. when you turn the landing lights on, that actually folds forward so that the landing light faces forward, and in flight it retracts back up into the wing to reduce drag. Somebody maliciously, probably alcohol involved, busted the glass on that. When this plane was put here, it was immaculately restored. Just amazing amount of work by a lot of talented people to put it back into shape. I think I'll show you the panel here in a minute. That tells you a little bit about where this aircraft came from. Of course, this particular one was a crash that was totally rebuilt, just completely totally rebuilt. So like I say, hats off and thanks to all the people who worked to restore this aircraft and put it on display here. As you can tell, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 50 caliber machine guns and one larger gun. I do not know what the larger size is. I'm guessing 20 millimeter, but I don't know. But those 4 barrels are 50, and the single barrel there, it looks different, is a larger size. So thinking of the weapons we had, I would think it would be try not to get my shadow in here. This was recovered in June of 1999, and as you can tell, it was in pretty sad shape. And U-860 lifted it up. Okay, and here's the actual sign. If I'll try to hold the camera steady enough to read. On 1 January 1945, Lieutenant Robert L. Nesmith, 54th Fighter Squadron, inadvertently flew the P-38Q Lightning, serial number 4213400, into the ground during a training mission in Tamanac Valley, Attu. Although shaken, he emerged unhurt. Shortly afterwards, the salvage team removed all usable parts and left the remains of the fighter to the elements. The Alaska Aircraft Historical Society placed it on the National Register in '79, and an aircraft maintenance team from Elmendorf Air Force Base visited the site in '91 and determined that it could in fact be restored. Excuse me here. Oh, that's that C-130 coming in for a landing. Like I said, I'm easily distracted. Okay. After several unsuccessful attempts, the group achieved official approval to recover the P-38. When General McLeod learned of the project, he responded, "Go get it." A joint U.S. Air Force, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and National Park Service and State Historic Preservation effort resulted in documents. Can't do anything without documents. Can't fly without documents. Can't recover airplanes without documents. Everything's documents. Me and paperwork. Anyhow, a volunteer recovery and documentation team from the 3rd Wing and the State of History and Archaeology, supported by helicopters and HC-130s. I called it a UH, it's actually a HC-130. Oh, excuse me, wrong thing. HC-130 from the 210th Air Rescue Squadron and the Coast Guard Loran Station, Attu, recovered the P-38 in June 1999.
Or no, air takes, like, fills up with air. Lockheed.
Yes.
Statistics. Oh, is that here, look, dude.
Hi.
This is a World War II.
Yes, it is. It's a World War II P-38.
He loves, like, he knows everything. It says it right here. Yeah.
It says right there on the thing, yes.
Look, it says, dude.
So what size is that gun in the middle of the nose? See how there's 4 across the top?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're 50 BMG. What is the one in the middle?
That's a 50 BMG?
The
know
the,
what
the
that
fork going
Me?
across the
I
top
know what
arc.
that is. What is it? It's a big ass bullet. Oh, sorry.
No, it's a Browning machine gun.
A 50 BMG?
50 Browning machine gun.
Oh, never mind.
It's 50
Oh,
caliber.
look. 50 caliber.
Yeah, there's 4 of them up
I
there.
know what a 50 BMG is.
20 millimeter cannon.
It's a big bullet.
It's a big bullet. I watched it.
So what was the cannon? A 20 millimeter?
This 20 millimeter cannon with 150 rounds.
A 20 millimeter cannon with 150 rounds.
50 caliber machine gun, 500 rounds each one. The Spanish use a.
Well, sure glad you came up and read the sign for me.
38.
Yeah.
I think I have like 2 World War II right now.
Well, thank you guys.
340 miles per hour. That's slow. Oh, it's slow because it has propellers. Well, do they have jets then?
They didn't have jets. They didn't have jets.
Jacob.